Hello everybody, my name is Tingle Payne, and welcome to our 5th episode of Kooloo-Limpah Tonight. Now, as always, we have our lovely little interview, and with me tonight is the career ASL. So, how are you doing, ASL?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Tingle?
Oh, I'm doing pretty nice myself, thank you for asking. So, basically how this works, if you haven't seen our previous episodes, is I'm going to ask ASL a few questions, we're going to talk about them for a little bit, and then that's pretty much all there is to the interview. But that's what it is. So leave your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll read them. So ASL, to start off my questions, I figured I'd ask a few things about Amino for you. Like, for instance, since you are like one of the more newer creators, what's it like to be a creator like for the first time?
Well, to be honest, when I first became a curator, actually, when it was first proposed to me, I was actually very nervous of what people You never know what people think of the curators. I mean, we have so much weight on us. Manage blogs, disable chats, hide users, if people act up. And you never know. I didn't expect that the workload would be too hard. I knew that I could manage it, and I find that I can very well. And I found that I've actually received a lot of appreciation for my job as a curator. And I just want to thank the community, because it really means a lot. It really does.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing that a lot of creators go through when they're first asked to go through that transition from being a regular member to a creator, is that you're worried, you're worried about how you're going to be accepted, because, everybody comes across those people that are like, oh, the careers are so unfair, or, oh, I wish they'd just go ahead and quit and let me be a career. I could be so much better, And some people think it's because they don't interact with the community much, but really they are in the background, They go ahead and make sure that we're okay, and they make sure that we don't see things that we're not supposed to see, especially when it's content that's not appropriate for the Amino. And that's a big thing that happens. And I think that a big reason why the community accepted you very well, and it's one of the reasons why I did as well, is because of how you've treated the community. You treated it fairly well. You've been a really good person to us all, so it was only really fair for you to become a career at some point in time, really.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. I do enjoy the community. It's my second family, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's a good thing that you think of it like that, because when a career takes it takes the community into consideration, that means that they really do care about it, and they're willing to do either a really good job, or they're gonna toss it away like some creators have, and it's in a way very disrespectful to us members. So thanks for going ahead and being appreciative like that.
Of course.
And so that kind of leads me to my next question: is how have you exactly been active in the community as a career? Like, do you mostly go ahead and what do you do most as a career? Are you mostly disabling things, or are you mostly posting things?
Mostly featuring things, and of course posting work of my own. I do disable when it's needed to be done, when it's necessary.
Yeah, and that's like a good thing that a career should always be doing, is stuff kind of like that, because you can either post good content to go and share with the community, and they'll boost your liking with the community, and they'll it kind of shows who you really are in a way. Like, you're gonna keep making content even though you have such a high position of looking through all those different blogs in order to go ahead and get them featured, and that's something that really comes down to, it really comes down to it like that at times.
Yeah, and being a curator, we are held to high standards. It can get stressful at times, and with disabling posts, sometimes you just feel bad doing it, because there'll be really great work, but it's not relevant to the community, so you have to disable it.
Yeah, and I feel the same way when I'm doing my job on my own Amino at times as well. I feel bad when I have to disable a type of post that's really good, but it's not what I'm looking for in the community. And I think that's kind of a feeling that everybody goes through when that situation pops up to us.
I actually had one of those earlier today.
Really? What kind of topic was it more talking about other than Zelda?
It was pretty much a favorite bio of a character from another series. I mean, it was really great. I went to the person and suggested that they, post it on the Amino relating to that series. I hope they did. This is great.
Hopefully they have done that, and that, it does get appreciated there. It's just a shame that we can't do it right here, So my next question to you is more Zelda related and quite a common question, but it's like, but what do you think of the Zelda franchise as a whole? How do you feel about it?
I think it's one of the greatest franchises out there, if not the greatest. Of course, that might be biased. Who knows? It's really inspirational. Community of gaming as a whole. You can find hints and references to it everywhere, even in Call of Duty. And there's one game where there is a trophy representing a Rupee, for example. And personally, it has had a large impact on my life, and one that I appreciated. One of these is, of course, Amino. Helped me make friends virtually, and it's helped me make friends in real life. Honestly, I thank Nintendo, thank Mr. Miyamoto, for what they've given us.
Yeah, and we should always go ahead and thank them for it, as one, we wouldn't have this beautiful community that is on Amino, and two, we wouldn't have a franchise that is loved not just by people that play the games, but is admired by people who look at it from a distance. Even those who don't like it still admire a few things about it. And then three, we wouldn't have the friends that we have now if it wasn't for The Legend of Zelda.
Totally agreed. There's like 3 major series that have been around for a long time that everyone knows about. Namely, Mario, Pokemon, and Zelda itself. You'll rarely find someone in, the world, well, I mean, you know what I mean, that have connections to the online world and news that doesn't, or hasn't at least heard about one of these 3.
Yeah, and I think it's a little odd in a way that I hear people saying, what is The Legend of Zelda, or what is Pokemon, or what is Mario, because those aren't just like video games that have influenced other video games, they've also influenced stuff like TV shows, books, music even, like it's in so many different things that it's hard to miss these 3 things.
Media is littered with references. I even think there's an Eminem song where he briefly references Nintendo.
Yeah, who knows, we may never know, especially with how fast Eminem raps. It's quite impossible to actually hear what he's saying.
Cue Rap God.
My god, that song is just... But, anyway, so, our episode this time around is themed around Wind Waker, wonderful, wonderful game. It was criticized for a while about its cartoony appearance, but as people played it over time, they pretty much accepted it as it was, and it was one of the more serious stories in the franchise, even with its very unserious look.
It does manage to do that.
Yeah, so with that in mind though, what is your favorite thing about Wind Waker?
That's actually a tough one. When I first played Wind Waker, it didn't stick with me. But upon replaying it, I fell in love with it. It's not among my top 3, but I do love the game. And through every playthrough, I've noticed I really enjoy the combat. Link is just flailing everywhere. He's speedy. He can't be stopped. So, the combat alongside the vast exploration of the ocean would be my favorite part of the game.
Yeah, and I think that's a favorite thing that everybody shares in common about Wind Waker is how big the game is and how the combat goes, and how fast Link is. Let's be honest, he's like a bit of a slower version of Sonic that's wearing green instead of blue, but whatever, no one really cares. But I think everybody just kind of admires Wind Waker because of how big it is and how much you can explore and it just makes it more of an enjoyable game, I guess, knowing that there's a lot out there that you won't get bored, and eventually you'll find something, you know? Kind of like how Breath of the Wild did it, but I feel like Wind Waker did it a bit better.
Yeah, like an example, what I always think of when I think of the Wind Waker combat are the Darknut battles. They're so fun, and the theme that plays when you fight them, it's one of my favorite.
Yeah, it is definitely like a good thing to listen to. We're not just playing a Darknut, but just playing to Wind Waker in general, you know? Like, you can just start playing that song while you're sailing across the sea. You'll still get the same feel. Well, for me at least. But I think that the music was also a very captivating thing in Wind Waker, and that's what really made it a good game as well.
I 100% agree with that. The tunes are unforgettable.
Yeah, like for instance, we have the Battle of the Winds. We have the song of, I keep forgetting what it's called. I think it's called the Song of Control, something like that. But that one's a bit of a haunting melody in a way. But they're all unforgettable. All of the names can be forgettable. The tune just sticks with you forever and ever.
Another thing I love about the series.
But moving a bit away from Wind Waker, going a bit back and forth in a way, I guess. What's more your favorite Zelda game in the franchise so far?
Over the past year, my favorite game has fluctuated mainly between Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess. If you've been a follower of my blogs, you'll have seen me heavily write about my love for Skyward Sword. However, recently I've zoned in, or rather singled in, on Twilight Princess in my #1 spot, although I'm not privy to share that spot with Skyward Sword. Surprised it's not Breath of the Wild? Well, when I first played Breath of the Wild, I was like everybody else, probably. It was my favorite game, but as time passed and had time to settle in, you know, you get to see it more and evaluate how you feel. Breath of the Wild still ranks really high for me, of course.
Yeah, and like I feel the same way actually. With Breath of the Wild, it's a good game, you know. I really loved it, but as time went on and as I continued playing it, it just didn't quite exactly feel the same as it did when I first played it. And that's, I think, how most people feel about Zelda games. But when it comes to games like Skyward Sword, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, or heck, even the very first Zelda game, I feel more connected to those because that's what I really played a lot of, you know. Like, I kept trying to find that final dungeon in the first Zelda game, or I just kept beating Skyward Sword over and over again just to see the story unravel, and it's one of my favorite stories. To go ahead and play through Twilight Princess because the combat was fantastic, you know. Wind Waker because, well, let's just be honest here, the ocean was fantastic. It was a great place to explore.
Definitely. You know, what I feel personally with Breath of the Wild is when you first start off, it's really fun. You're exploring everything, finding things left and right. But after you progress and have many, many hours, and depending on how you've played, if you've beaten all 4 divine beasts, it starts to feel empty. It's like, oh, there's a Bokoblin camp, or, oh, Korok Seed. And shrines, while exciting to find and fun to play through, they become the same. And I don't know about you or anybody else, it starts to actually feel kind of depressing. Just feels like you're wandering around aimlessly.
Yeah, and I think it feels a little more depressing knowing that Link doesn't even fully remember who he is. So you're basically just this guy who doesn't even know who he is, wandering around the world, just killing things for no reason at all. And it's just kind of like, well, that's pretty sad, dude. Why are you doing that? Why are you killing so many people? You don't need to do that. But I can definitely say that like the shrines, they kind of started to feel the same towards the end. But when I got to the end, like to the very last shrine, I felt I fully realized then how different each shrine was. Even when it was like that last 30 I had to go, it was like a struggle to get through because they kind of more felt all the same. But when I finally beat that last one, it made me fully realize what the shrines were like, and I just in a way, I guess, I wish they were just longer. If they were longer, have at it, that'd make it a lot better.
I agree, and a concern that I'd like to address is, I feel Nintendo thought they could just max out their shrines and use it as an excuse to have less dungeons. But in my opinion, that was the wrong move, and they could very easily substitute a few shrines out of the 120 they have to make room for a few more divine beasts or traditional-esque dungeons.
Yeah, and when they said that shrines would be like mini dungeons and stuff like that, I was hoping for a few things kind of like that you could find like across Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, you know, like you'd find these caves and you can go into them and there'd be like about 2 or 3 rooms in them, either with full puzzles or enemies, and it was fun to complete them, you know, like it was entertaining. Sometimes there'd be a fairy fountain in the end, and sometimes there'd be like just a piece of heart, you know, that's kind of what you got. And I could totally see knocking down like 30 or so shrines in order to make 3 dungeons or divine beasts, you know, that would have been nice. Or maybe add a bit more story, that would have made it feel less empty in the story department as well, because I kind of felt like Breath of the Wild lacked some story.
I do agree there, the story did feel a bit lackluster now. I understand that with having an open world game, developing story or writing it around the game has its difficulties. They did what they did with memories, they did well. And the story that is present, I do like. But as you said, it just feels empty. I hope that they'll learn how to build story around open world games as time progresses.
Yeah, and I really think that a good way they could have done this is by going ahead and, for instance, tying memories into towers. I feel like the better way they could have gone ahead and connected the story into the world is by, say, putting memories into towers. Like, when you reach the top, you know, you could remember something. And that would have been a great way to go ahead and tie the world in with the past. You could see what it was like back then, you know? And that would have made the story feel a bit more alive and maybe add a few more story elements into it as well, you know? But yeah, aside from that, that's how I feel like they could have tied it together, you know?
Yeah, and another thing story related, if I may, a lot of people hate on Zelda's character, but what I think they fail to realize is that she's going through a lot. You know, she has the entire kingdom on top of her shoulders. If she's trying to unlock this power that if she can unlock, it could mean the end of everything. And her dad's constantly pushing her. She doesn't get a break. And when someone's like that, don't blame them for getting sappy or sassy.
Yeah, and when you go ahead and go to certain locations and read certain things, you find out more about who she is and how she feels, as well as finding some stuff that her father left behind. You find more stuff, and it just becomes, you become more involved, I guess, with Zelda. And people should remember that we as human beings as well also go through times like this, and I think that's why Nintendo made Zelda like that, is to more like relate with with us, I guess, you know, like a more relatable situation, like people depend on us. That's how I see it, at least. Like, that's why Zelda's more of a relatable character in the game.
I agree.
Yeah. And now, moving on from Breath of the Wild and such, as that was, I think, our second episode theme, so if you guys want to check that out, you can. But what I would like to go ahead and ask, actually, and I think a couple other people would like to know this too, is where did you exactly get your name from, ASL?
Oh. Well, after E3 last year, Naked Link was all the craze. Pretty much broke the internet. So I took adorable shivering Link and made that my name, and then I joined the Secret Links, and it is them who gave me the acronym ASL. And as time has passed, it's sort of lost its meaning as adorable shivering Link and just become kind of an acronym for anything that has an A, S, and an L. Though really it's become, you know, me. It doesn't stand for anything anymore, it's just ASL. It's for me.
Yeah, and see, when people go through this on like, you know, social medias and stuff like that, and they start to become more popular, they'll have like a completely different name when they first get on said social media. Like when I first joined Zelda Amino, my first username was bear with me on this one, it's actually a massive pun in the end. Think about it when you hear this. My first username way back when was Uranus my big butt, because oh my god, butts are the funniest thing ever, you know? Ho ho ho. And then time kind of moved on, you know? And I kind of changed my name from that to an oddball to a weird guy. And then it just kind of fell on me to Tingle, because my friends saw like a relation between me and Tingle as being weird and odd. And so I kind of developed into the whole Tingle thing. And Lepagova actually comes from the group, the Lepagova family, which has since been disbanded for a while now. And Pain is, well, it's more associated with like how in the end we will all feel pain, you know? And so my name has a funny meaning, a friendly meaning, at the same time, a true meaning. It kind of varies on how you think of it, I guess. So that's kind of where I got Tingle Lepagova Pain from, or I just go by Tingle. It's been a wild trip, but as I went through the trip, I've become more connected to Tingle than I thought I would when I first started, basically.
Oh, that's poetic.
I guess, like, I've been told I'm a fairly poetic guy, but I don't know, I might have to talk about that on one of our mini episodes. And if you missed it, by the way, guys, we posted a mini episode last Monday, so go ahead and check that out, because it's mostly about the future stuff about the Zelda franchise, kind of, in a way, you know? And it sounds a bit like a ramble, but you get the idea towards the end, and I just hope that you guys like it. It's a starting project. But back to the interview. So ASL, I was wondering exactly, what do you plan on doing in the future with Amino? What are you gonna do?
What do I plan on doing in Amino?
Yeah, like, do you plan on continue becoming a career throughout your days on Zelda Amino?
I have some blog series, a couple, that I plan to release soon, now that it's the summer and I have more time. I hope everyone will look forward to them. I'm excited to release them. And in addition to that, I've been running my own magazine, The Great Sea Journal, for a couple of months now. And I'm planning to spread that wider soon, create more segments, open recruitment. By the time this is out, that will probably have happened. And while I'm talking about it, I'd like to thank the crew, everyone who's worked on it, if they're still on it or not. Just a thanks to what they've contributed.
Yeah, and I think everybody goes ahead and feels about that when we do things like this all together, when we make a group, like say for instance we have Hyrule Times and Little Rule Magazine, those places. Obviously we have to give thanks to them for inspiration on what we do, because they don't like just inspire us to make vlogs, they inspire us to do these things like Kooloo-Limpah Tonight. They held like this spark, and I'm glad that they were around, or else I probably would have never done this. You probably might be doing a magazine now, I'm not sure though.
No, I do my thanks.
Great big thanks to them though, let's be real here. They've done a great job.
Indeed.
Hopefully we can see like more things like this, you know, like more podcasts on Amino, more magazines, newspapers and stuff like that on Amino, because that's just what makes Amino, you know? It's a community of people who can work together to make things that people can enjoy, and that's what we strive to do here at Kooloo-Limpah Tonight, and I can totally see people striving to do that on the other magazines and newspapers as well.
Totally agreed. Just great minds from around the world finally get to come together and work towards something, provide entertainment and information.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be like a little confusing with what the information is about, because you might be missing out on something, but at times they'll go ahead and give you like a background, and that's good, you know? And, you know, this is also helping out the writer of this supposed segment, or more just what the piece is about, you know? And I think that's a great thing altogether, is that Amino's not just connecting people, helping them work together, but it's also helping them like establish better skills, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we reached about our time limit with this segment. So ASL, before we leave, do you have any questions for me at all, or for the team?
I do. Now, I think this has been asked before. I've probably forgotten about it by now, so forgive me if I'm beating a beaten horse. But aside from the magazines that were there prior, what really inspired you and the team to create Kooloo-Limpah Tonight?
I think that this question has been asked before, and I do believe I've answered it, but it was more at the beginning, and then I wasn't too sure about what inspired us to go ahead and do this, and it's more that I guess it's not just me, it's not just like the magazines that helped us out, it's more the support that was received for the idea, because when the idea was first proposed, you know, like there was a lot of support for it, and that's what really gave me the inspiration to do it, you know, to go ahead and form a team and get this up in the air. And first off, I went ahead and decided to go ahead and go for like auditions and stuff, you know, like a survey. That didn't quite work out, so I decided to go ahead and go for my friends instead, because I knew quite a few of them. And you know, we've been working together really well, and I just want to thank every single one of them for helping us get this far. It's a pleasure to go ahead and be here talking with not just you, you know, but with everybody that I've talked with then in the past and then in the future. Yeah, it's more or less for the experience, I guess.
That's nice to hear.
I hope I answered your question.
Yeah.
Well.
You did. And you know, I'm sure you and everyone working will grow as this podcast progresses and you have the chance to interview and speak with more and more users, which is the beautiful thing about this.
Yeah, and that's what I love so much about it, is that I'm not just talking with the careers and stuff. I mean, it's kind of been like that for a while, guys. So sorry about that. But pretty soon we will be opening to like more people other than creators. Soon we're going to be branching out to the leaderboards, and we're going to be either picking a lucky person, or we're going to go ahead and pick someone that's entered one of our challenges. It's going to be kind of stuff like that, you know. We still haven't figured it out yet, but we're getting there. So hopefully, I'm hoping that I get to talk with more people. And I don't know, it's been a great ride, I guess, especially with your support, because I love the support that you've given me and the team, as well as the other careers and leaders and everybody else that has given us the support. So thank you so much for the support.
Yeah. Keep it going. Oh, is there time for one more question?
You know, yeah, there is. We have enough time for one more question, I guess. So ask that last question, my friend.
Thank you. Don't take too long, but I'd like to know, what are your hopes and expectations for the future of Zelda?
Oof. I'm not gonna ramble for too long, but basically, I'm hoping that it doesn't stay in the one-player mindset. I want it to go ahead and expand to multiplayer, but I want to get a bit better at it, you know? Make some smaller games, that'd be great. Maybe do a mobile game like Pokemon Go. I think they might be working on one though, so that's interesting. And to make games how they did with Breath of the Wild, not like exactly the same. I mean, like they go out there and they change it completely, like the feel of the game, but they keep that Zelda vibe. That's why I want to see the Zelda franchise to become, is a changing and evolving thing. And you know what? They can go back to certain things too. That's okay, you know? I just want change every once in a while, because Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword, they all follow a formula. And Breath of the Wild destroyed the formula, put it back together in a different way. I want to see that again. Let them go back to the original formula, but go ahead and keep the elements that was inside of Breath of the Wild. That's what I want to see. Experiment. That's what I want them to do with the Zelda franchise.
I agree with that. That's a great vision.
Yeah, and I hope they do the same thing, you know.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honor.
No problem whatsoever, ASL. It's been an honor talking with you as well, actually, because not only are you, you know, one of the newer creators, but you're also, I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but you're also like the first member to become level 15 on Amino. So like I mean it's been a long time since then, but congratulations on that. So thank you once again, ASL, for joining us tonight.
Of course.
I will go ahead and see the rest of you guys in the next segment, and I hope you enjoy who's coming back for this one. Alright everybody, welcome back, and it's glad to see Key come back again. So welcome back, Key.
Hey guys, it has been a really long time, and anyways, today I'm just really excited because I'm back on the show for another episode, and I'm ready to show you guys another awesome project that you may or may not do. I have no clue how many people actually do these things, but yeah, I'm here to show you another cool project.
Yep. So Key, since this episode is themed Wind Waker, what have you brought to the Wind Waker game world?
Today I brought something that not many people may expect, and it is a kind of difficult project if you want to make it look just right. Currently, I've tried to attempt this a few times, but not really succeeded. So I want to see if like anybody else can like really nail this project, with a little bit of tips and instruction from me. So today I'm gonna show you guys how to make the skull hammer from Wind Waker.
Alright, go ahead and explain to us, Key. How are we gonna start building this hammer?
Well, first, you aren't gonna be able to like make this like on a go kind of thing, like I've described a few times before. This is gonna take some actual time and effort to make this. It's gonna involve mostly 1-inch thick wooden dowel, some paper mache, maybe a little bit of cardboard, and some gray, black, and maybe a little bit of tan paint. Because I can't remember the exact color scheme of the hammer, but it's gonna take you guys a little while, so just sit back and take notes.
Alright, this will be interesting then, I guess, because as you've said, this will take a while.
Most definitely. I've already described like the materials that you're gonna use, so I guess I can just kind of go ahead and get into this. You're gonna wrap the handle in either black electrical tape or paint it over black, whichever you guys think might look best. Then this is kind of where the paper mache and cardboard comes in. Essentially what you're gonna do is you're gonna wrap a piece of cardboard into a cylinder-like shape, glue that with hot glue or staple it or whatever you gotta do to make it hold sturdy like that. Then you're just gonna place that on the top, poke holes in it, cut it out so it fits over the top of the dowel. Then you're gonna glue it with hot glue. Hot glue is what I recommend most guys because that's like your best friend when you're making props, especially with cardboard. Then after you're done with that, you're gonna close off the ends of the cardboard cylinder with some round pieces of cardboard. So it's gonna just look like a regular old hammer that you find like at a store or something at first. But then you're just gonna use the paper mache to kind of make the shape of it. You have to mess around with the cardboard a little bit to get the shape just right. But once you've like worked around with it and stuff for a while, I'm sure you guys can do it. What helps is having a good reference picture so that you can kind of see where you have to like raise the cardboard up a little bit, add a few more layers of paper mache. You're also gonna want paper mache the bottom a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. There's something on the bottom. And I think that's about it. After that, there's mostly just a paint job. But this isn't as easy as it sounds, considering it is kind of a weird-looking hammer with a weird-looking skull on it, like we said earlier. So I just wish you guys the best of luck, and you can find me on Amino and stuff to help you out if you need any tips. Because right now, I'm kind of just picturing this in my head, and it's kind of sounding easy to me, but it's not easy at all. So yeah, I think that's about all I have to say. So take it away, Tingle.
Well, actually, I have a few questions. One of them being like, would you recommend people actually like swing this around as a hammer, or would you recommend it being like an actual prop?
I would recommend it as a prop because paper mache is not exactly something you would use as a weapon. If you go into like a prop fight with somebody with this, it should be fine. But if you like go swing this at a heat tree or at the nearest Bokoblin or those little devil things that we all love smashing in the Forsaken Fortress with that, then you're not gonna get very far with that. It's just gonna break. So I would recommend using this as a cosplay prop. Maybe if you're cosplaying Wind Waker Link, use it for that. But that's about all I would use it for. Maybe display also, if you make it look good enough.
That's good to know. If people don't have like some of these certain materials, would you like what kind of things would you recommend as like a substitute for certain things?
Well, I suppose if you like use cardboard, and like cut out the right shapes and stuff and glue them all together, it would take a lot more time, but you could kind of do it that way. It just wouldn't look as good as it should. Really, guys, you have to get the materials if you want to look right, but other than that, I would recommend just getting the materials you need, or just trying to think up your own ideas, because I'm sure other people have tried this on like some kind of cosplay amino tutorial or something like that, so you can just figure it out. It really doesn't take a lot of brain power to figure out how to shape paper mache or something, because paper mache you don't even have to buy anything, you just need some old newspapers and glue and water, so yeah, no biggie, you guys can do it.
Alright, that's good to know. And be aware, guys, that Key's craft segments, they're not just regular segments where we go ahead and talk about a thing that Key has made to show us. It's also a segment where you can go ahead and pick up some things and, I guess, challenge yourself on making the item. And, you know, if you successfully make it and Key approves of this, then you might just get a feature in the next episode. That'd be a shout out or maybe an appearance, but just so you know, guys.
I definitely want
Exactly.
I definitely want to see you guys try your best at making these things. It would just make me feel like so proud and happy to see other people trying to make these sorts of things. I love seeing people get creative. I think that like a few weeks after Breath of the Wild came out, this guy made like a huge bow replica of Riboli, and I was just blown away by it. But if I see somebody else like making something I tried making or explaining on the show, that would just make me like so proud and so happy. So if you guys give this a shot, I'll definitely give you a shout out on the show with Tingle's permission, of course. And yeah, sorry for interrupting you, Tingle, but just go ahead.
Oh no, it's fine. I felt more as I was interrupting you. But so yeah, I guess that's gonna wrap up this segment of the show. So thanks, Key, for stopping by again. Hope to see you in another episode in the future.
Yeah.
So I guess without further ado, we'll go ahead and go to our next segment, and I'll see you there, I guess.
Bye, guys.
Hello everybody, welcome back, and this is our free talk segment. So last time, you know, we had Golden over here, and we also had Pixel. But today we brought someone new. Today we have brought the TheMinishGamer. So do introduce yourself, Minish.
Alright, hello. I'm the TheMinishGamer, and you can all feel free to call me Gabe.
Oh, hi, I'm GoldenHam, or I go by Golden Retriever, or BoriquaRM Lincoln.
Alright, and with that out of the way, I guess it's time to go ahead and just talk.
Yeah, well, I just got home from work, and we were going to record on my way home, but the connection was so bad.
It was like, I don't even know, but how's you guys' week been going, by the way? Like, how are you doing?
My week's been pretty boring.
My week's been very busy. I just started a full-time position in home healthcare, which means I go to people's house and take care of them. I have a client that I visit Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, and I absolutely love them. Like, I can't really tell you too much about them because of HIPAA. Like, for those of you who don't know, it's a privacy act for like doctors and medical people that protects the privacy of clients. But yeah, I just go to their house and help them.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it. And I'm like CPR trained and certified.
I mean, I think that's kind of more like expected though, for you to be certified for that kind of stuff in case something would happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, have you guys seen it much from E3 recently? Because like that's kind of been going on all week.
Not really. I'm planning on watching some maybe sometime this weekend, but haven't gotten to it at all yet.
What about you, Golden?
No, I have not. I've just been really busy.
A lot of stuff's been announced recently. Like for instance, there's like a lot of stuff going on in E3. Like they just recently announced that Minecraft is about to go cross-console for the first time. Possibly one of the first games to go cross-console.
What does cross-console mean?
It means like, say for example, you're playing Minecraft on the Nintendo Switch, and then I'm playing Minecraft on the Xbox One. I can go ahead and be all like, hey, let's play together, and then we can go ahead and connect to each other's games.
Oh, that's actually
cool.
really interesting.
Yeah, the sad thing though is that's not going to be available to PS4 players at all.
Haha, you guys suck anyway.
Oh, shots fired.
Yeah, Flame are starting.
I don't know though, like, I have respect for all consoles really, you know? All the consoles, like, some may be better, some may be worse, but they all have good games on them, like, no matter how you look at it. Like, you know, for instance, on the Xbox One, you know, or no, just Xbox in general, you know, for a long time, their main game was Halo. And for PS, it was like, I don't know what one of their I think it'd be like Kingdom Hearts, you know? Because those were really good games.
And then is Uncharted? That's only PS4 or PS, right?
I think so. So definitely Uncharted because I've heard a lot of good things about it. I haven't played any Uncharted games before. Have you?
No.
That's a shame. I don't know. Like, I hear that it's fun. It's like it's really big in open worlds. What I've heard about the newer ones. So I'm thinking that maybe the older games are like that. I don't know. I want to like give it a shot though, because from what I've seen, it looks beautiful, just beautiful. But I don't know. One thing's for certain though. Aside from Minecraft going cross-console, there's also been some other stuff revealed, like some stuff about the new DLC for Breath of the Wild. You know, we got to see some gameplay of that. It was really good too. I recommend checking the video out. Because we don't have to go ahead and deal with all this. We don't have to deal with all the boredom of being in the game and then just being stuck there. Like, what do I do now? Because now we have new enemies, and I'm super excited. Well, I mean, like not new enemies, but you know, new levels of enemies. It's so quiet here.
Yeah.
Like. Oh my god, except for my cat who keeps coming over here. Go away. Goodness. Do you guys have any animals?
Nope. The only I've ever had is a fish, which died.
My parents have 2 Goldens, which they're bringing my dog, Wilson, who's been my profile picture for like almost a year for Amino when I was Golden Retriever. They're bringing him up to visit me, and my mom's gonna be in town, so I get to see my baby puppy again soon. But other than my parents' dogs, I have no animals. I rent and I can't have any animals.
Oh, that's sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, I have like way too many animals. Like I have 15 or so chickens, 2 dogs, and 3 cats, and a rabbit.
Well, it's Iowa. Don't you have like more chickens than people there?
Yeah, we do. Let's see, there's 8 people. So
No,
yeah, we have
really,
more.
In
Yeah.
the statewide, you have more chickens than humans and more cows than people.
Well, we have more chickens because we can go ahead and get more eggs from that. And let's be honest, eggs are the best.
Yeah, I just actually had eggs with dinner.
Seriously?
This morning,
Ooh, what
Yep.
style?
I do them over medium.
I don't know. Like, I like all forms of eggs, like, you know, good old tree zone eggs, scrambled eggs, fat eggs, egg in a basket.
I like them poached better than fried. Because sometimes the oil just doesn't sit well with me. And if I'm at a restaurant, because I'm allergic to dairy, and they might people fry eggs in butter all the time, I just ask for it to get poached because then I know it's going to be free of dairy.
I like how we went from talking about E3 to eggs.
Yeah, it's... You can
This is
never
how-
go ahead and stay on one topic.
Yeah. Oh! You guys,
Yeah.
exciting news that I'm going to see the Symphony of the Goddess on June 30th. I'll be driving up to Denver to see the Symphony of the Goddesses.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, this is my second season. I went last year and I cried because it was so beautiful, and I just can't wait to see the cosplays.
Did you see any? Or
Last year, oh my gosh, someone was dressed up as Ganondorf. So this year, if I see a Ganondorf, I'm gonna bow to him and and pledge my allegiance to him.
oh my gosh, you're still continuing that?
Yes. So for those of you who didn't know, when Tingle and a few of our other friends, we have just this close-knit group of friends that started Kooloo-Limpah Tonight. When we all first met, it was in a Ganondorf cult chat, and we started a fanatical Ganondorf cult.
It was really nice. How did the chant go again? I forgot.
Ganondorf is king, may his reign never cease.
Yes, that was it. Minish, were you ever part of that group chat?
Oh, no, I was never in there.
Oh man, dude, you missed some great times in there. Except for when said person was in there. Those were okay.
Yeah.
Like
A few people were just too much for us.
too much drama. I mean, I see where you're going there, but so Minish. What do you exactly do on Amino? More like a question.
Well, recently I haven't really been doing much, but I have been talking in chats and stuff, but I've been taking a break from doing any blogs for a while.
Interesting. I mean, I've kind of done the same thing, you know, like I've been taking a break, but it's more because like I've run out of ideas. Have you run into the same problem or personal thing?
Yeah, I run into that a lot.
Yeah, like I want to talk about when I want to talk about Breath of the Wild, nobody's into it, and when I want to talk about anything but Breath of the Wild, that's when people want to talk about it, and I'm just flustered by it, I guess.
Well, I can't really do any blogs or anything about Breath of the Wild because I haven't really played it.
Oh, really?
No, well, I played it for maybe about 20 minutes at my cousin's house, but yeah, I haven't played much of it.
Yeah.
Then I recommend making blogs about like games that you have played, because that's kind of what I do sometimes, you know? Like I'll make a blog about Skyward Sword, Wind Waker, something like that. But I don't know. So, besides Breath of the Wild, what games have you guys played exactly?
I have played all the Oracle games, like Oracle of Season, Oracle of Ages, Minish Cap, Link's Awakening, that was my favorite. Link to the Past, Ocarina, Majora. Can't remember. The newer games I haven't really played that much. I've played a little bit of Wind Waker, but not much of that one.
What about you, Minish?
By played, do you mean played like just at least a little bit, or played through the entire game?
So yeah, both basically, like 20 minutes or beat the entire game.
Well, I've beat pretty much most of them, but the one Legend of Zelda game I've never ever played is Skyward Sword.
Really?
Yep, because I don't have a Wii Motion Plus.
Oh, dude, that sucks.
Yeah, because I had reserved it from the library because I wanted to try it out to see if it was worth buying, but then when I got it and put it in, I realized that I needed a Wii Motion Plus, so I was never able to play it.
Yeah, dude, that has to suck. I mean, like, when I first played it, dude, I loved the game to death. Like, it's one of my favorite Zelda games. Probably still my favorite. Like, originally it was, like, Breath of the Wild was, like, my top favorite for a while, but then it just kind of dimmed down a little, I guess. But, yeah, I don't know. When it comes to, like, Zelda games and stuff, it's hard to pick one to like because they're all unique. And when it comes to games you've played, I don't know, it's interesting, I guess. Like, it's hard to get your hands on one of the older ones, to be fair.
Well, yeah, but you could get them on Virtual Console.
That's true, you can get it on the virtual consoles or an emulator, but for those who can't do that kind of stuff, I kind of feel bad for them.
Yeah.
Like, you'll never get to experience the true awesomeness that is that one game that I forgot I was gonna say, but whatever. But I think that goes for all games in the end, you know?
Yeah, the animation for Skyward Sword is just beautiful. I like the bright colors and just how it's, I can't even think of the words. I want to say whimsical, but it just feels like a big epic game, like how just Link's just coming down out of the clouds and being on the surface for the first time. That I think it captures the atmosphere of the magnitude of it really well.
It really does, and it also goes ahead and, like, it gives you a new feel, you know, like a new sense of discovery in a way, because no one's been down there in such a long time, and you're one of the first people to be down there.
Yeah.
And so you have this sensation, basically, of being the first to explore it all after so long.
But, you know, the one thing that I just kept thinking about was, like, the population is so small. Well, if they've been up there for thousands of years, wouldn't it be huge?
Yeah, it would have been nice if they add more characters, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope they go
Well,
ahead and make the remake.
Yeah, but it was a beautiful, gorgeous game.
It really
That's
was.
one thing I really loved. It was just the beauty, and it just seemed to really, like, the animation just went perfect with just the atmosphere of the game, that it wasn't as dark as Twilight Princess or Majora's Mask, which those are some pretty dark games.
Yeah. So, speaking of Skyward Sword, actually, how would you guys feel if they made, like, if they remastered it for the Switch?
Yeah, well, I guess.
Yeah,
like, maybe tweak a few
Well, I
things
think
here and there.
that would be pretty cool.
And I feel like that the Switch's motion control are better than, you know, what Skyward Sword had, so I feel like they'd get a better experience as well.
Yeah, like, the one thing that I really wish they would improve upon is the stamina, which I've said this before, that I like the idea of stamina. That's a really cool idea, but it's something that you should be able to build up, and, like, how you have the same stamina gauge from the beginning to the end, that you can't increase it, you can't make it better, and, like, if you can increase your health, why not your stamina?
Yeah, that's kind of what Breath of the Wild improved on. That's why I loved so much about it, is that there was things that it took from Skyward Sword and put it into Breath of the Wild, and I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah, like, I really gotta play Breath of the Wild. I was telling
Really?
the guy I was renting from, he's a gamer, he likes playing video games. Last night he was up playing Banjo-Kazooie, and I was talking to him, and he was saying how, like, he did rather have me pay rent than buying the Breath of the Wild in the Switch. He's like, yeah, I appreciate that you didn't do that.
Why?
Because would he rather have the Switch in the Breath of the Wild or $400 cash?
Actually got a point.
Yeah, which you can't get anything better really than $400. That's as cheap as it gets here when it comes to housing and renting and stuff. That this is as good as it gets, basically.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of, like, remakes and stuff in the Switch, if there were to be a remake, would you buy the Switch if you haven't already?
Yeah, I would.
I would, but that would depend on how much money I have at the time.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way, because I'd probably have to end up borrowing some money from my parents, and then I have to go ahead and pay that off, and that just doesn't sound like fun. So.
Well, It's better than taking a loan out from the bank, which you just pay your parents back the money. Unless they charge you interest.
That's very true. I don't know, like, but I wouldn't just buy a Nintendo Switch for like Breath of the Wild or a remaster of Skyward Sword, but I'd probably also buy it for like like Super Mario Odyssey, which looks really good. Definitely Skyrim, because did you see? Okay, so
I haven't played it, but it looks amazing.
So I watched the trailer for Skyrim being on the Switch, you know, and guess what they revealed?
What?
If you use the Breath of the Wild Link amiibo, you can actually go ahead and get that Master Sword and the Hylian Shield.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
I remember seeing something around on Amino on that. Can't you also get the Tunic of the Wild also?
Yeah, you can. I'm just like, oh my god, it's amazing! Like, holy crap.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see more stuff like that in the future with certain games, you know? Like, if they're part of a console that had like a flagship game that launched with it, then they should go ahead and like incorporate it into that game somehow, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like how Bethesda did with Breath of the Wild. That was a really, really clever idea they did there. But not to mention like how gorgeous the game looks on the Switch. Like, holy crap. But I don't know. Like, there's been so many games coming out, like for the Switch or just in general, you know, that it's been hard to keep up with all of them. So, like, the ones I've only really kept up with the Switch is like ARMS. That's the only other one. It's ARMS because it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, didn't that launch today? Or
I think it did. Man, does it look like a lot of fun, you know? It's like did you guys ever play Wii Sports? Like
yeah,
boxing?
I did.
I did bowling.
It's like that, you know, but more fun.
Yeah, I saw the gameplay of it, like around the time when they first announced the Switch and announced a few of the games. I saw some of the gameplay from that, but haven't seen much of the newer stuff at all yet.
Yeah, same here for me, because I want it to be more of a surprise when I play it first, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be like, oh, I already saw this, I already know how to do this stuff, you know? Because that's...
Yeah. Yeah, you want to discover
away.
some of the stuff yourself.
Like new moves and stuff like that. But have you guys been keeping up with games recently? You know, like.
Well, I've sort of been keeping up with new 3DS games launching because that's the only modernish console I have. So.
Fair play. I don't know, like, I've been keeping up with a lot of games that are like out of the Switch because, like, I don't know, I've been following them for a long time. Like, recently, have you guys heard of Sea of Thieves?
No.
No.
Okay, do you remember Assassin's Creed Black Flag?
No, not really.
Well, basically what it was is that it was... Well, you know what Assassin's Creed is, right? Yeah,
sort of.
So, basically what it is, you know, like a regular Assassin's Creed game, but it's based in the Golden Pirate Age, and you get to sail around, and basically, you know, you're just like a pirate that can go ahead and raid on ships and stuff like that.
So basically a more mature version of Wind Waker.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, and you had a bigger ship with more cannons and stuff, so... Yeah, and then, there was a multiplayer to it, you know, so I was like, oh, cool, am I gonna get to be on, like, a ship with a crew of, like, other players and stuff and sail across the sea and fight other players' ships? That was not the case at all.
Oh.
To be honest, the multiplayer was very disappointing, and, like, oh my gosh, I was so mad. But what did end up happening, though, is that later on I found a game called Sea of Thieves, and what Sea of Thieves basically is everything it's everything I dreamt of having in like a Black Flag multiplayer. It's 4 people, you all get on a ship, there's a team voice chat, and you have to communicate in order to just sail the ship, and then you can go ahead and sail around finding treasure or other players to go ahead and fight.
That sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
It looks like a lot of fun. I recommend like watching a gameplay trailer and just watching it. Like, oh my god, it's so... And the art style, it's kind of like... It's very cartoony in a way. Not like Wind Waker cartoony, but like... It's still cartoony, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't look like realistic animation.
Yeah, exactly.
What was it called again?
So kind of a little bit more like
Sea of
Skyward
Thieves.
Sword, where like it's kind of cartoony, but at the same time it looks pretty real. It looks
Kinda, you know, not too heavily like Skyward Sword, but kinda.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, the one thing that I just couldn't get past was how cartoony Wind Waker was, and that was like a total turn off for me. That was just so cartoony. Until
Really?
I actually played it, and I was like, okay, this gameplay is a lot of fun. I can...
Yeah, like once you get past the art style, if you don't like it, it becomes like a great joy of fun.
Yeah, it does. Like, the art style was just a pretty big turn off for me.
I don't know, I really liked it, you know, I think it
The art
keeps with
style.
the whole like, every art style is original,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, that's actually my
Yeah.
favorite Zelda game.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it'd be like,
Wind
I
Waker.
thought it'd be like Minish Cap, like from your name.
Okay.
Oh no, I just chose this name because I was doing a playthrough of Minish Cap around the time I was trying to decide a name.
Hmm.
I loved Cap. That was so much fun. I remember pre-ordering it when it came out, before it came out, so I could pick it up. And then talking to the guys. What year did it come out? I was still in high school, maybe I was in middle school. I was still pretty young, and just like talking to the people in the game shop about it, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. You're gonna love this game.
Yeah. I like it when people do that, you know? Like people at your local game stores, they'll go ahead and like watch you pick up a game, and they'll, like if they've played before, they'll either go ahead and talk to you about it, you know, like, oh, it was so much fun, or, oh god, it was terrible, don't do it, I beg you please. And then there's also the people that are all like, that's a good game, but this one was better, you know, like they give you recommendations and stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I was at this one store my dad took me to once, because I saw that they had Link's crossbow training there for like $2, and I decided to get it. And as I was paying, the mitten at the register said that it's a terrible game.
He's like, this is a terrible game.
Okay, 2004. 2004. So I was either in 8th grade, just finishing up 8th grade, or just starting up
Yeah.
9th grade.
2004?
Yeah, I was 14.
Um,
I think it was between 8th and
Oh,
9th grade.
yeah, my second youngest brother, I think, turned 3 that year. Yeah, he did turn 3. No, he turned 1 that year. Yeah.
Dang. You kids
Well,
are young.
excuse me.
Well, I do have gray
You
hair.
do have gray hairs. I've seen them.
Yeah, you call me grandma because of that. Yeah, I'm Grandma Golden to him. You haven't called me that in a while.
Oh my gosh. I love writing jokes within friend groups, you know? Those are the fun things.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
have you ever had those days?
I have friends who call me dad because I just make dad jokes a lot, and they're just like, you're such a dad. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I used to make dad jokes a lot, but then I kind of got bored of it, so I stopped.
I just make a lot of bad puns.
Oh my gosh. So this client was telling me she's elderly. She was telling me how her dad even did the hi hungry, I'm dad joke.
Oh, no.
So these are like the oldest jokes in the book that I'm pretty sure in this Garden of Eden or Adam was saying to his kids, "Hi, hungry. I'm Dad."
That actually physically hurt.
It was a joke. You physically hurt because of the "Hi, hungry. I'm Dad."
That's the worst
your
thing you
dad's
could ever
joke?
say to me. It actually eats my insides.
One time my dad said he was thirsty, and I said, "Hi, thirsty.
Oh
I'm
my
God."
god. That sounds terrible. That sounds really terrible. Oh no. But I don't know. I mean,
thought
it's
it was
funny, but at the same time, like to certain audience, it sounds pretty bad. But yeah. So I definitely have to say though, like, I love it when friends do that. You know, like they either make a running joke that's either within a friend, that's with the group, or just it's all of them. You know,
Yeah.
like for instance, for a long time, me and my group of friends, we would always say "yed," "yed," "yed."
Yed, I still do that. My mom even says "yed" to me. like,
Yeah, I
in a
remember that
text
one
or
time
something.
when Matt the creator was trying to go ahead and convince us that it meant something completely terrible.
Was it Matt or was
It was Matt, it was Matt.
Soul? Okay.
Oh my
I
gosh,
miss Matt.
that guy
Matt
is
Rain.
amazing.
I miss him.
It was after he
disappeared.
I think he basically just left to go to a different amino. I don't remember. I don't remember why he left, but I hope he
Okay.
does come back in the future though, you know.
Yeah, I miss him. He's gone, and I'm like, people are
Yeah,
just
his
typing
wall.
on his like wall, like, where are you? Are you still alive? Are you dead? I'm like, well, he lives in Detroit, so
Yeah.
it's
Do you have
anyone's
anybody like
guess.
that, Minish? Like they just leave randomly?
Yeah, actually, like two of my first friends from Amino, I haven't really heard from them since sometime last year.
Like who?
One, I haven't heard from him since January. His name was Max Wonder.
I remember Max Wonder.
And
He was an
I
interesting
don't.
fellow.
he had he created that chat, the boss fights chat, and it had been pretty active until a few months ago. It's been kind of dead.
Rest in peace. Who was the other person?
His name was the Fernbee. I don't know if you would know him.
I think I do remember the Fernbee.
I met him on my first day in the new members chat.
Dude, the new members.
Now, was it the Hyrule Hangout?
Let's be real here, though. The new members chat is the best chat in the world.
Yeah, I left that like
I remember the Hyrule.
Hyrule Hangout? Oh
Hangout.
my gosh. Minish, were you part of that chat?
I don't think so.
Oh, it was one of the best chats ever. Like, next to Telma's bar, the Milk Bar, the Villain Bar, and the Ganondorf chat. Hyrule Hangouts was definitely one of the best.
I was in the milk bar.
Yeah, I definitely remember
very,
you
very
being in the
cool.
Milk Bar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, there was one guy.
Is Totally Mental still around, or did they change their name?
Totally Mental?
Totally Mental? Yeah, the original Milk Bar.
I remember.
Yeah. What happened to Mental? I miss him.
Yeah, I just want. Well, maybe someone will hear this and tell us, because I don't know if he changed his name. I don't know.
Yeah, they just kind of disappeared, and it's just kind of like, where are you at now?
Yeah, maybe he changed his name.
Possibly. We may never know, though. Like,
One of my favorite things is when people refer to me as a guy on Amino, and I'm just sitting there waiting for it to get revealed that I'm not a man. I just think it's hilarious.
yeah, it's always a funny thing, like, in general, you know? When you, like, get called
Yeah,
the opposite.
You can't
Yeah.
see their
Minish,
face.
has that ever happened to you?
No, but I have seen it happen to other people before.
Well, I think it's because this is a video game thing, and it just seems like more that people just automatically assume your gender is male unless your name is like Princess Zelda or something, or you're an obvious female.
Yeah.
I remember someone was like the Great Fairy, but it was a guy, and everyone thought he was a she.
I remember that.
Fairy. Yeah.
Greatest trap card ever.
Yeah.
Man, there are so many good things from the good old days of Amino, but
Yeah.
it's been one hell of a lie, right? But we can't reminisce over all the old days of Amino, from last year, along with everything that's been going on this week, or in general. So let's say this, guys. We gotta wrap this up.
All right.
So thanks, Mish, for coming on with us tonight. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm
It's
honored.
been great.
It's no problem, Minish, really. And Golden, thanks for joining us again today. It was really nice to have you on.
You're welcome. Yeah, I like being on. I love it.
Now that the segment is over, this is either going to be the end of the episode for you, or you can stay a little later and check in with me at my Tingle time, because I got one or two things to say real quick. Till then, see you there. Alright, everybody, we hope you enjoyed that episode of Kooloo-Limpah Tonight, as we did work hard on it, as usual. Our editor is starting to slowly die a little, but he's working through it, and man, I just hope he's doing well right now, like holy crap. But yeah, so thanks to him for doing all this stuff. So if you guys didn't know, next episode will be our 6th episode, which means we've been working on this project for about about half a year now, so that's pretty impressive to think about. And for that, we're gonna be doing a very special episode. I'm not gonna tell you exactly what it is, but it's gonna be giving you a bit of a look through time, I guess. Like we're gonna basically show you a bit of how we got to where we were. And in other words, we'll also be dropping a few other things, It'll be a bit longer than our average episode. Maybe, I'm not sure. We still haven't recorded anything for it yet, but when we do, I hope you guys love it a lot. And we will also be featuring a few guests as well, so I hope that you guys enjoyed that bit. And we will be having our interview, but it'll be a bit different. I'm not gonna say exactly who we have, because I like to keep it a secret. But I will say for certain that they're a fun bunch of people. They're a fun bunch. And last but not least, I'd like to go ahead and mention is that we have something that a few of you you longtime listeners, those of you who keep coming back to the show in order to see more of us, which, by the way, big thank you to those who got through the entire episode or just came back to listen to another episode. It's been great. But yeah, so if you do watch the episode, by the way, leave a like on the blog or the video. Anyway, though, we're gonna have something big for you guys, and it's more to help us interact with you and basically go ahead and show our appreciation a bit better, I guess. So that's kind of all I have to say right now for you guys. I'll definitely go ahead and be checking in with you guys on episode 6, and be aware that the mini episodes you've been seeing, we're still gonna make them, but it's not gonna be exactly like too often, so don't expect them like every month, because we won't always have something ready. But do expect them, and always watch out for them on Mondays, because that's when we will post, always. No exceptions. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much going to be it for this episode. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.